Hello everyone. Before I can begin the topic, let me introduce myself. This YouTube channel is actually an extension to the Telegram channel called UPSC Highlights, which is also managed by me. This channel is useful for all the civil services aspirants because it tries to uh, highlight the various newspaper articles from as many as 7 different newspapers and interrelate it with previous other articles as well. And it has been useful for quite a few rankers, including rank 1. Now, we'll get into the topic. If you want to utilize this channel, you can also do that and join the Telegram channel. Today's article is about the debate surrounding around the raising marriage age of females to 21. Prior to this, it was 18 years only. Now, what is the rationale behind this and the entire controversy? Let us have a look at this from UPSC exams perspective. What is the actual context of this entire news article? So recently, Cabinet has approved to bring about a uniformity in the marriageable age of both men and women. Before this, according to the different laws in our country, for different scenarios, the age of marriage that is legally sanctioned, it was different for both the bride and the groom. For example, you know that Article 44 of the DPSP, or the Directive Principles of State Policy, wants to create a uniform civil code. Now, uniform civil code means everything that is related to the civil aspects of human life, like say the institution of marriage and the property will, etc. All these issues should be covered under this civil code. That is one aspiration that has been set out by our constitutional makers. The difference in various religious practices has led to different laws. For example, if you take a look at the laws that are governing our institution of marriage, we have the Hindu Marriage Act, and Islam laws are different from this Hindu Marriage Act, and also we have the Special Marriage Act 1954 and the Prohibition of Child Marriage Act 2006. In each of the scenarios, the age of women is actually lower than that of men. What is the rationale behind this? Actually, it is just social custom, and keeping this in mind, considering the phase of constitution that we are undergoing a phase of transformative constitutionalism. Transformative constitutionalism, this is a phrase that has been utilized in our judicial discussions as well. So whenever we are talking about the various phases of judiciary, the present phase can be summarized by the use of the phrase transformative constitutionalism. How can you say this? Take a look at the Joseph Shine case, or the cases with respect to adultery. All these important issues, of course, they're beyond the scope of this video, but just so that you know, whenever you come across these points, you have to include them under the umbrella of transformative constitutionalism. Coming back to the topic, so what are the laws that are governing our marriage system? We have already seen. The rationale behind the age has been questioned by a lot of experts. Also, we'll be looking at not just the moral imperative and the legal imperative, but also India's obligation towards international conventions like the Convention on Elimination of Discrimination Against Women. So, what we have to consider here is the rationale. We are focused on jurisprudence and also its social impact, how it will empower women. Purely from a logical standpoint, this action is actually meant to empower the women socially. So, social empowerment actually means the freedom to decide what they should be doing in their own life. It is a process, that is, it is not an end. It keeps on evolving. The idea of empowerment keeps on evolving from different time periods, and this empowerment is the basis for human race to exist, because humans are different from animals in the way that they want to express their potential, and empowerment is giving that power to different sections of the society to express their potential, and in this case we're talking about women. What exactly is the trigger for this legislative action? Historically, we have had this problem of child marriage. What is the impact of child marriage? If we are talking just in terms of the quantity or quantitative terms, it leads to a fall in the social indices with respect to women. Now, the second question we have to ask is, what is the trigger for such inclination in the society for child marriage? Firstly, it is the social norms associated and the kind of roles given to the girl child in the traditional society, which led to gender inequality. After that, there is also this case of poverty where uh, educating the girl child is considered to be out of the ambit or out of the scope of a poor family. That is also one more reason for child marriage. There were quite a few laws which were brought out by the erstwhile governments as well. Right from the pre independent era itself, we have had certain laws to stop this social menace, but effectivity of those laws was quite low. What is the data to back up our claims? UNICEF studies shows that India is home for 33% of the child brides, that is, girls under 18 years are getting married. That is the largest in the world. So, if you talk about it in the quantitative terms, there are 1.5 million girls getting married under this age of 18. Let us take the official statistics: National Family Health Survey round 4 and round 5. This is almost 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 2015 to 16. It was found when the survey was actually conducted. During the time of survey itself, nearly 8% of the girls were found to be pregnant under the age of 18. That is 15 to 19. And if we take a look at the preliminary data that we got from the National Family Health Survey round 5, there is very marginal decrease, just about 1.6% reduction in the incidence of child marriage. So this comes at a cost. I mean, there are a lot of associated issues ranging from human right violations, disempowerment of women, and associated health issues. Let us look at them. So, what exactly are these associated challenges when we talk about child marriage? Firstly, we have certain health issues. Say, for example, there is a case of teenage pregnancy. Such a girl child is actually in the growing age. When such a girl child becomes a pregnant, firstly, there will be population growth, but because of the lack of available nutrition, there might be a chance of child stunting. And when such a child grows, there will be poor learning outcomes for the child. Secondly, when we are talking about economic reasons, there will be lack of women participation in the labor force. As a result, when we talk about women, there is a traditional low domestic status, and the decision making authority given to women is taken away from them. So it has a lot of consequences coupled with the health reasons, and also because of the low domestic status, it leads to poor nutrition availability and scenarios like anemia, social isolation, and even violence against women is also pretty normal. So all these are interrelated. In order to break this chain, we have to stop this menace of girl child getting married at a very low age. So, did India not take any actions before this plan of increasing the legal age? Yes, we did take some actions. On the legislative front, we have the Prohibition of Child Marriage Act of 2006, which made the act of child marriage, that is to say, if either the bride or the groom are children, then this act is applicable, and it made everyone involved in that marriage liable to a cognizable and non-bailable offense. Cognizable means the police need not have a warrant from the court if he or she believes that there is a reason to believe that the person has committed the offense and is satisfied that arrest is necessary on certain situations. Child marriage is one such situation according to this act. However, there is a caveat here. What is the definition of child? You have to understand. Let us take two scenarios, two real-time scenarios that Supreme Court interpreted. In one case, a 21-year-old female married a 17-year-old male. And in the second case, a 17-year-old female was married by a 21-year-old male. In the case two, the male can be arrested for marrying a child that is less than 18-year age, because that is the legal age for marriage for women in India. That is why this male can be arrested. But this Prohibition of Child Marriage Act 2006 does not talk about this case one, where adult women, that is greater than 18 years age women, marries a minor, that is less than 18-year-old guy. This happened recently, and Supreme Court clearly laid down that the objective of this particular case is not to punish women, but only to ensure that the ensuing social norm of patriarchy is not forcing girl child into marriages. That is to say, only males can be uh, punished under this particular act. However, overall, this act has not been so successful as proven by the National Family Health Survey round 4 and round 5 statistics that it stopped the menace of child marriage. It is because of this reasons, and also because of the commitment of our country to abide by what is known as the Convention on Elimination of Discrimination Against Women, which is monitored by CEDAW, to ensure that there is equal protection of women rights as well, and also focuses on abolition of all the laws that assume to have a different physical or intellectual rate of growth than men. So because of this philosophical concept and legal understanding, the age gap between the bride and the groom is supposed to be irrational, and it is also against article 14, which says which talks about the right of equality, and Article 21, which talks about the right to life. So, bringing them on par and increasing the age from 18 to 21 has actually been suggested by a committee which studied the various scenarios, and that committee is headed by a person called Jaya Jaitly. So, if you have to mention in your answer, the recommendation is based on the Jaya Jaitly committee, and it has a legal sanction. That is to say, it is based on an international convention. So this is the scenario. Now we'll come to the analysis part. What are the pros? What are the cons? Obviously, once you see that the legal age has been increased, more and more families will encourage women to get educated. Education is the only way out of poverty for a lot of women, and it obviously improves the nutritional level of mothers because they'll be married at a later age. Also, what is the con? We have already talked about this. Existing laws are not implemented on a proper level, and we don't know if just by raising this legal age from 18 to 21, it will make any significant impact or not. And this menace is actually seen in the case of SCs and STs because of the poverty they are perpetually subjugated to. And nearly 70% of the incidents of child marriage are found within SCs and STs. So the positive side again, it aims to curb the menace of child marriage. The intent is pretty good enough. So is the intent behind the law that we created in 2006. But legal protections that the institution of marriage otherwise provides will be taken away. We have seen various cases even with the 2006 Prevention of Child Marriage Act. What happens is, let's say, if a girl below the age of 18 years is subjugated to domestic violence, in such scenarios, because the marriage itself is not considered to be valid, the girl is denied certain legal protection in those cases. That is one issue. Even if you take the case study of IFPRI, so children born to adolescent women between the age group of 10 to 19 years, they have 5 percentage points more likelihood to be stunted in their years of growth. That is to say, they will not be healthy. We have already studied this. But raising the legal age, how will it change the social scenario, is the biggest question raised by a lot of child policy experts and women activists. So, what should be the way forward? Definitely, this legal sanction is a welcome step, but this alone is not going to be sufficient. What should be done? Yesterday itself, our ex Home Minister Chidambaram has actually suggested that for the entire year 21-22, our government must focus on improving awareness about the uh, rationale behind increasing this legal age from 18 to 21 and educate the population about the benefits. So that way there will be social acceptance of the new legislation. And Chidambaram has actually suggested that we should bring this law into implementation only from 2023. That can be one point which we can add to our answers. Second one is increasing access to schools and colleges. One of the major reasons a lot of families encourage the girl child to get married at a very low age is because of the ensuing issue of poverty and lack of access to good schools and colleges. There is a high dropout rate after high school, because let us take the case of right to education. It is only till 14 years. So as soon as the girl child hits puberty, there is no legal right for the girl child to get educated, and as a result there is additional cost associated with education, and there are dropouts, and this increases the possibility of a child marriage. So we have to ensure the access to education. If you take a look at the world report, state of world report by UNFPA, it clearly laid down a strong correlation between educated women, where there were incidents of late marriages. So education is equal to late marriage is equal to better mental and physical well-being, plus also economic empowerment. And empowerment means freedom. Freedom is nothing but the liberty to do or express one's full potential, which is also the objective laid down in the preamble of the Constitution, and also contributes positively towards India's SDGs, that is, Sustainable Development Goals. So that's it for now. I hope this was very useful. And if you really want to download this particular note, you can join the Telegram channel that I've mentioned at the beginning of this video. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching. I hope you please subscribe to this YouTube channel as well. Thank you.